What's up, everybody? It's your favorite music teacher, Mr. Ridley, and I'm so excited to be able to learn with you guys today. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to continue talking about instruments with the percussion family, but we're going to look at a different side of the percussion family. But before we do anything like that, I want you to go ahead and have some fun and get up and do some dancing. So you're going to pause this video when I say go. You're going to do 2 Just Dance songs, and then you're going to come back so we can talk about some instruments. All right, ready, go. All right, guys. So like I said, we're going to continue talking about percussion instruments, but we're going to look at a different side of the percussion family. Now, remember, a percussion instrument is a percussion instrument because it's something that you either hit or you strike to produce the sound out of it. All right. So remember that, because in the future, we're going to talk about other instruments that you're going to have to play different ways. And some of them, you're not going to hit or strike it. So I want you to think about whether or not that instrument is in the percussion family. All right, so I want to show you something, and I want to ask you guys to do something along with this. All right, this is the snare drum that I showed you guys last week. I'm going to play a note on the snare drum, and I want you to see if you can sing the same note that the snare drum is playing. All right, listen to it first, and then see if you can sing it. Here we go. All right, can you sing that? I'm going to try it again. So there may have been some friends that were able to get pretty close to the sound of the snare drum. But a lot of drums, like the snare drums, only produce one sound and they don't change different notes. We call those percussion instruments non-tuned percussion instruments. So today I want to show you tuned percussion instruments. So before I show you any of the instruments that I have, I want you to look at this short video that does a really good job of explaining what a tuned percussion instrument is. All right, when I say go, you're gonna go look at that, and then you're gonna come back here. Ready, go. All right, so if you were looking at that video, you could see that tuned percussion instruments usually have more than one note that they can play, and they can usually create different melodies. So I want to show you the first one over here. Now, this one that we're going to start off with is called a keyboard. Now, a keyboard looks a lot like a piano, but it's not exactly the same thing. A keyboard is actually an instrument that mimics the sound, copies the sound of other instruments. So this instrument actually copies the sound of the piano, so it sounds just like one. But the biggest difference between a keyboard and a piano is that the keyboard has to be plugged up. It's electronic. It doesn't work without electricity. A piano doesn't have a plug. You can play it anywhere. You can pretty much play it straight out the box, all right? So I'm gonna turn on, actually before I even turn on, I want you to see a little bit of what this keyboard looks like. See, keyboard is just like the piano in that it has the white keys and then it has the black keys. So it looks the same, but also keyboards are usually a little bit smaller than a piano. Okay, so now I'm gonna let you hear a little bit of the sound of this keyboard. So you can hear different notes. It kind of sounds like a song is about to happen, right? But I'm still hitting the keys. So it is still a percussion instrument. But like I said, the keyboard is really, really good at mimicking or changing its sound to copy other instruments. So I'm gonna switch it up and I'm gonna play a different sound from this here keyboard. Listen. So I literally just played the same notes that I played the first time, but it sounded completely different because it's changed its sound, all right? Let me just do one more. So it's just a little bit of what the keyboard sounds like. I know I messed up a little bit, but it's totally okay. Because what I actually want to do is I want you to see a professional keyboard player, to see how you can change the sounds to produce different kind of music. So when I say go, you're gonna pause this video and you're actually gonna look at two different videos because I want you to be able to see the difference between a keyboard and a piano. So you're gonna look at the keyboard video first to see how it sounds and how it can produce different sounds, and then I want you to look at a more traditional piano player and see how that one sounds compared to the keyboard. All right. And when you watch the video, you're gonna realize that the piano can only produce that one sound, while the keyboard can produce different sounds, multiple sounds. All right. When I say go, you're gonna look at that and then come back here. Ready? Go. All right, guys, so now I'm gonna show you another group of two instruments that are very similar to each other, but are made a little different, okay? This instrument that I wanna show you is called a xylophone. Now, a xylophone kind of looks like a piano or a keyboard because it's played very, very similar. It has notes just like it. But how you play it, you don't necessarily play it with your hands, you're gonna play it with a mallet. Mallet that looks just like this. And remember, when we talked about mallets last time we were playing the hand drum, this is what this mallet looks like. Even though these mallets look very different, they are both still called mallets. You may use one kind of mallet for a specific instrument and a different kind of mallet for another instrument. Because these are made out of metal, if I use a rubber mallet, with run it in like this, it's gonna produce a louder sound. So you're gonna be able to hear it a little bit better. Okay, so listen. Just like that, all right? And that is what a xylophone sounds like. It has the same kind of keys that a keyboard or a piano has, but it produces a different kind of sound. It's still a percussion instrument because I'm striking it. All right. Now this particular xylophone that I have is really cool because I can take off the different notes and I can show you, or I can move the notes. See, there's empty spots right here. I can move the different notes around to make it more comfortable or to create different songs. Now what I want to show you is the opposite, not necessarily the opposite, but a different instrument that's very, very similar to the xylophone. All right, so the instrument that's very, very similar to the xylophone is called the marimba. But what you're gonna see in the video in a couple of minutes that the xylophone, the marimba doesn't have a metal notes, it has wooden notes, okay? And that's gonna be the main difference between the two instruments. It's gonna look just like this instrument, except the notes are not gonna be made out of metal, they're actually gonna be made out of wood, all right? And you still play it with a mallet, okay? So when I say go, I want you to stop and pause, and you're gonna go look at a marimba player and a xylophone player. And you're gonna listen to the differences between those two instruments, all right? And remember, they are percussion instruments because you're still hitting them or you're striking them, all right? Ready? Go. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. So I want to show you one other instrument that's really, really cool. All right. Now this instrument doesn't really look like an instrument, just looks like a pipe or a pole, right? These are actually called boom whackers. Boom whackers come in different colors. They come in different colors and different sizes. And what they do is they mimic the sound of a keyboard or a piano to where I can play songs using these different boom whackers. So I want you to listen to the difference in all of them that I have right here. All right, so this is the biggest one. I want you to listen to how low this one sounds. And again, I'm gonna play this by hitting it on my hand, or I can hit it on the ground to produce the sound, okay? Listen. That's the sound of a boom whacker, all right? It has a specific tone to it, so you can change. You can create different melodies using the boom whackers. Something you can't do with a snare drum because it only has that one sound, right? So that's the lowest one. I'm gonna let you listen to. I have eight of them, so I'm gonna let you listen to all 8 of them. Okay? Here's the lowest one. So if you heard all of that, that is what we actually call a scale. Those were 8 different notes, and it was slowly going up. It's the same thing as if I were to play it on the keyboard. So if I played it on the keyboard, it's going to sound very similar. So this is what it sounds like on the keyboard. Listen to that note. Those notes are the same notes, all right? Now what's really, really cool with boom whackers is, again, you can create a song using different boom whackers. But I'm gonna tell you, it's really, really difficult to do when you're doing it by yourself because you gotta use a whole bunch of different boom whackers. So this is what I'm gonna try to do. I'm gonna try to play a song using the boom whackers, but I want you to listen to the different notes and see if you can identify the song that I'm trying to play, all right? All right, I'm gonna go a little slow so that you can hear it. Let me get some space. Let me make sure I got enough space so I don't mess up. Do you know what song that was? That was Mary Had a Little Lamb, and all I had to do was pick up a different boom whacker to create a different sound, all right? Now, what I would really love for you guys to be able to do is to listen to this song that uses boom whackers, and it's really, really cool, all right? So when I say go, you're gonna go look at the video, and then you're gonna come back to this, all right? Ready, go. All right, guys. So, like I said, what we talked about today were tuned percussion instruments. And the only difference between a tuned percussion instrument and a non-tuned percussion instrument, the ones that we looked at last week, is that these ones that we listened to today create different sounds. You can create different melodies using them. They go high and low. They don't just create one sound. And for the next couple of weeks, we're also going to be talking about strings, we're going to be talking about brass, and we're also going to be talking about my favorite group, which is the woodwinds. And what's really, really cool is that I'm going to have some guest performers who are going to come in, and they're going to show you those instruments because they're really good at performing them and they know them really, really well. All right, guys, I can't wait to learn that stuff with you guys and experience it with you. So until then, be safe and have a good rest of your day. All right, see you later.